Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So I was scrolling Twitter this evening, or X, right? And I came across this post from the New York Post. UFC partners with Bud Light as embattled beer tries to fight off Dylan Mulvaney backlash. And as a mixed martial arts fan, a UFC fan, I thought, oh no. And I'm sure a bunch of people across the United States and the world are thinking the same thing, right? What's going on? Well, on the surface, before we get into the article itself, it's got to be money. We know that Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch is into tossing marketing money out there, trying to partner with College Game Day. They're sponsoring everything with the NFL with all the cans. And now here we see that they got their grubby little fingers all over the UFC. This is once again a successful brand lending its clout to Bud Light, who has a negative impact on anybody else that partners with them. And with this one, it's tough because the UFC has a lot of dedicated fans. And I don't expect people to suddenly stop watching fights or ordering the fights or doing whatever they do to watch them. A lot of people are fans of individual fighters, and it's bigger and broader, somewhat like similar to how the sports teams get by with it too. It's just a bummer to see Dana White make this decision, and who's a guy that I really like. Let's go ahead and read the article. The UFC partners with Bud Light as embattled beer tries to fight off the Dylan Mulvaney backlash. UFC announced Bud Light will be its official beer as part of a partnership with Anheuser-Busch following months of controversy surrounding the beer brand that erupted earlier this year. The mixed martial arts organization revealed Tuesday it struck a multi-year deal with the beer giant involving the Bud Light brand having a heavy presence in UFC's content in its broadcasts and online beginning 2024. So at least we got a little bit of time before we start seeing more of it shoved in our face while we're watching these events, right? Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light were UFC's official beer sponsors more than 15 years ago. I'm proud to announce we are back in business together, UFC CEO Dana White said in a statement Tuesday. There are many reasons I chose to go with Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light. Most importantly, because I feel we are very aligned when it comes to our core values and what the UFC brand stands for. I'm looking forward to all of the incredible things we'll do in the years ahead. How long is this deal signed for? What's going on? And what do you mean that Bud Light aligns with the UFC's core values? Because we know where Bud Light's core values are, and the UFC's, I guess, our official stance are maybe still yet to be determined, but it doesn't look good. You're going to really say that, because what that statement to me says is that we align our views with Bud Light's, with Anheuser-Busch, right? That's our core values, the same thing that they have. And we know that Anheuser-Busch has been trying to add to their ESG score, operating based off, DE&I, merit-based has gone out the window, which led to, the debacle in the first place, people just passing the buck, no oversight. Nobody's fired yet either. Of course, the CEO is still there, and then the two marketing executives that were put on paid leave, right? They're still being paid. I'm sure they're being brought back into the fold probably beginning of next year. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think they're going to actually be brought back into Anheuser-Busch's fold as operating executives again? I think they will, but let me know what you think. I mean, why wouldn't they? If they weren't, why wouldn't they have been fired by now, right? I mean, lawsuit? Give me a break. They cost them $20 billion of market share plus $30 billion of market share. That's certainly fireable offenses. So, don't give me a lawsuit or whatever. But anyways, let's continue here. Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light have always been on the cutting edge of iconic sporting moments that fans remember forever. And reuniting with the UFC is a continuation of the industry-leading legacy. Anheuser-Busch CEO Brennan Whitworth said on a press release. And he always has a lot of word garbage to say, right? What did that actually mean? Who's the industry leading legacy of partnerships between beer and fighting? I don't get it. As one of the largest and longest standing sports sponsors, we are excited to work with UFC to celebrate our passionate fans while always making a positive impact in communities across America. And Modello's over here going, we are America's number one selling beer right now. Bud Light is on the fringe. Essentially, they're down 25 to 30% week over week in volume. And we're over here killing it. What about a Modello partnership? But I'm sure Anheuser-Busch has more money, and we know that they're willing to spend it. So obviously, whatever Dana White says is kind of got to be taken with a grain of salt, simply because we all know this is about money, right? They obviously offered the UFC a ton of money. I'm proud to announce we are back in business together, UFC CEO Dana White said. Oh, that's the caption for the picture. So Anheuser-Busch will be replacing Modello as the UFC's official beer partner. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize that Modello has been the official beer sponsor. So Modello's really mad. They're like, this is the thanks we get? Oh, man. Wow. So, interesting. That adds a whole new layer to this. Wow. They're kicking Modello to the curb while they're doing well and replacing it with, good old Bud Light. I'm curious what a lot of these fighters have to say, and I'm sure they're not going to be able to say it. There'll probably be a couple that they just do anyways, but man, this is wild. Appearing on the Sean Hannity show, White said his decision to partner with Anheuser-Busch was the furthest thing about money. Okay. Yeah, because Anheuser-Busch is on the rise, right? Bud Light is on the rise, and it's smart for the UFC to partner with them. Yeah, we all know, or at least I know, that you're way smarter than that, Dana White. Just say it's about the money. They're on the downslope right now. They're handing out money way more than everybody else, way more than they have before. And we're in the business of making money. So, screw off. That's what we do. And, people would actually probably respect that more out of Dana White than say that it's not about the money. I know I would. And I've seen Dana White tell people to screw off on social media and whatever, multiple times. These guys employ 65,000 Americans, thousands of vets they employ. They spend over $700 million a year with U.S. farmers, buying their crops for their product. And there's many, many other reasons that I did this. Yes, he took the deal for the farmers of America. Come on, dude. Like I was saying, just tell us you're a businessman, and it was smart. It was smart business to take that money because it was way beyond what they've been offering in the past. People will understand that. They won't like it. They'll take it with a grain of salt, but they're still going to tune into the fights because fight fans are fight fans. This is a bummer that he went this way, and ultimately, like I said, I explained it for him. I understand it. I know they're giving him a bunch of money, and it's smart for the UFC, and I want to see the UFC do well. I know they're expanding into Dubai in the upcoming years and stuff like that. I think it was couple fight nights or whatever it's called, and then a couple actual big events per year, more than it was before. But anyways, this isn't a UFC ad either. So where I sit personally with my core values, and I felt like the core values of the UFC, even though we're a global sport, we have fighters from all over the world. This is an American company, and I love this country, and this is more about me being aligned with somebody who is a sponsor of the UFC and somebody I'm going to work with every day. Well, I don't know, man. It's just Modello's on the up right now. There's other brands that are really, kind of out there working to try to be a better representative for the culture than what Bud Light has been. I feel like he's kind of rewarding Bud Light in the face of all these other people this year where the tides have turned, and lending the UFC's clout to Bud Light and just for money, because that's what it is. Allegedly, in my opinion. White alluded to the backlash Bud Light previously received by saying fans might not love every decision that is made by either the UFC or Anheuser-Busch, but insisted it wasn't a tough decision at all. He's not making this situation any better for himself by really digging his heels in and saying that He's aware of the Bud Light backlash, but he's still willing to partner with Anheuser-Busch because they align on their core values. People are boycotting Anheuser-Busch because they use Dylan to market alcohol to children. The majority of Dylan's followers across his social media, from what I understand, are around 15 years of age or younger. That's just something that I can't get down with, among some of the other stuff that has gone along with it, you know? But let's just continue. This is more about core values to me than anything else. It's really trying to emphasize that it's about his core values, right? I mean, diverting from the fact that it's about money. I mean, if it's not about money, can we see the contract? I know the answer is no, it's stupid to ask, but come on, man. Let's be real. Bud Light was the subject of a major backlash last spring when it partnered with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney for an Instagram ad about March Madness, sparking plummeting sales for several months. Things only got worse for the beer brand when it subsequently revealed Vice President of Marketing Alyssa Heinerschneid had swiped its core consumers by saying Bud Light's past advertising was fratty and out of touch humor. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I knew there was something else, but I was drawing a blank right now. Then they backed up the marketing campaign by calling their customer base fratty and out of touch. I mean, the reason people are your fans, they like your beer, is because of your previous marketing. Like, if they like the stuff that your company put out before, and then now they're stupid for doing it, what does that say about you for saying that? I don't know. It's just insane. And she's still there. Beer Business Daily publisher Harry Schumacher told Fox News Digital last month that Bud Light's fallen sales signals quasi-permanent damage to the brand, and the longtime customers are just lost forever. And I agree with that. People moved on. They found different beer that tastes better, and even if it costs a little bit more, but sometimes it's cheaper, right? However, not all of the harshest critics have completely abandoned their iconic beer. Was spotted drinking a can of it at an event in August. Yeah, you know. But I guarantee you he didn't enjoy it as much as he would have before. That's what happens when we're forced to drink Bud Lights nowadays, is we don't enjoy it like we would have. But I'm curious, if you guys are watching this, did you switch away from Bud Light? Were you drinking Bud Light before and now you're drinking something else? And if you did, I'm curious, what did you switch to? Personally, I was drinking Coors Light and Yingling before. I didn't hate Bud Light. I would drink Bud Light. And since this, I've drank a couple Bud Lights. And like I said, I didn't enjoy it like I would have before. But for the most part, I stick with the Yingling and Coors Light when I do drink beer, which is not that often. But if you are out there and you are a beer drinker, I'm just curious what people have found out there. Maybe give me an idea of something that I could try too. But briefly, before we wrap up, let's just go to the public commons and see what people are saying about this partnership. Back on X here. Little couple funny memes. Modello is laughing all the way to the bank. Yeah, I don't think they're laughing all the way to the bank on this one because they lost their sponsorship. No, speaking of which, let me go ahead and give them a follow. Here's one. I like your pride shirt. Oh, USC went out of their way to grasp this L. Yeah, I agree. You're not making Bud Light better. You're just making the UFC worse. Well, that's unfortunate for the fans of the UFC. Donald Trump laughing and smiling. I wonder how much money the UFC will lose to get $100 million from Bud Light. I'm curious if that's what it is, $100 million for, he said years, so multiple years to come. I don't know, I'm curious. Can't show a lot of the other ones. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. As always, if you've made it to this part of the video, I sincerely appreciate you for spending this time with me. And I hope I was entertaining or you learned something. And if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. All your support is much, much appreciated. And I will see you guys in the next one.